We focus mainly on J-pop, which is Japanese kind of style of music and dancing. And then we have started to branch into K-pop, which is the Korean side. But we're working on doing original stuff. So hopefully we'll be making our own costumes, own dances, songs, lyrics, and be moving more towards being our own group versus just a cover group. The name of our group is Oracle, and we're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and maybe soon to be TikTok. So far we have done covers of a bunch of Japanese songs, and we go to conventions and do competitions or showcases. And then because of the pandemic, we've been doing some online. I was asked by a friend that I worked with if I was interested in dancing, because I had never danced before. So I joined a couple of groups leading up to this one. When I first started dancing with the other groups, it was really basic. A lot of posing and just like walking to a new spot and posing. It was just the style of songs that we were doing. This group, we started off with something similar to that, and slowly we've worked up to the song that we're doing now. And so I've had difficulty with keeping up maybe stamina-wise, but usually if I take like potassium or something, I'm usually okay to catch up. It's a lot of just having someone who's really skilled at dancing and then someone who's like only posed. So my mom's working with Dr. Cannon with the PPA, so I hear some stuff about it through her, and it appears that it's the hypokalemic periodic paralysis with Paramyotonia. So before like going on stage or anything, I'll usually take a potassium that day, so that way I know that I'm not just gonna fail on stage suddenly. As far as practices before I go, I'll usually take it, and then just kind of see how it goes. I mean, I've seen what she goes through as far as like her physical ability to do things. I can hope that maybe I don't get as bad, but I think that if I did start to have problems, the girls would help either compensate for it, lower kind of the difficulty of some of the moves. Because right now, as we're moving into them, I'm still able to do them, but if something happens, we have someone who's really good at choreographing, so she'd be willing to fix it. So my symptoms usually start off with what I would describe as a migraine. And so it's almost like I get the aura, but it's not quite a blind spot yet. I just know that maybe I'm not seeing everything, even though I know I can see everything. And then it starts to have like a blind spot, like if you looked into a bright light and then looked away. And it just kind of looks almost like staticky in different places, and it just grows and grows and grows until I'm almost blind, except for it's usually my peripherals that I can see. And so usually as soon as I notice that like I may be not seeing everything, even though I think I am, that's when I pop. I do a pain medicine and the potassium. And so that usually masks it. But after my vision goes mostly dark, that's when I start to get the weakness, and I have to sit down, or my like speech is kind of impaired. I get kind of pale, and there's a bunch of stuff, but it's usually my first symptom is the vision problems and the migraine. So my migraines, before I started taking the Excedrin, because I had a problem with taking medicine when I was younger, they would last for like 4 days. And so I wouldn't get too much of the weakness at that point, because this was back in, I think, 10th grade. So I would just go blind, have a really bad migraine, and just be out for like 4 days. And so then after that 4-day, I was like, you know, maybe I'll take the potassium and the Excedrin. And so now it's, after I take it, it starts to go away. So before the migraine hits, my vision usually comes back for a little bit, but I can still tell that I'm having a migraine even with everything. Big jump. So right now my horses are at the barn that I work at. So I go and I'll ride my horse, and then I start feeding. I do feeds at 4 nights a week. I take the pills just as like a going into something, not sure how it's gonna go, just to make sure that in the middle of doing something it just doesn't drop suddenly. When I start to feel symptoms of, like, my first symptoms usually having the aura, like migraine aura, so I'll usually take another potassium and not a fizzy, an Excedrin to help with the pain, and then if it continues, then I take a fizzy. Fizzy, I think, works faster, but the taste, when I'm already feeling kind of gross and nauseous and from, I guess, the migraine, not a migraine, I don't really want to drink something that tastes kind of gross. So when I started to need to take potassium, I was immediately like, I'll just use the pills. And at first, because they're huge, I wouldn't want to take them unless I needed them. And then when I had like an episode, she gave me a fizzy. So that's kind of, I think, when I realized that those worked faster, but they just taste kind of gross if they're not the unflavored. So I usually stick with the pills. I think I have a decent or pretty good handle on it right now. I'm dating my boyfriend of 4 years. And so far we don't have too many problems with my disability, but I'm sure as time goes on, maybe more things will arise. I mean, he can't leave me. We're not allowed, like, he's trapped. So I'm not worried. He's already committed.
If you would like to know more about periodic paralysis, visit periodicparalysis.org. And if you enjoyed this video and want more, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any future videos. It really does help spread the word. You can view other videos about periodic paralysis by clicking the thumbnails to the right. If you have questions, just leave a comment below or reach out to us on social media. We'd love to hear from you.